Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that could be a huge deal for how AI works inside your company. It's an open standard called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. And honestly, it's aimed at fixing one of the biggest, most persistent headaches in enterprise AI today.
And that quote right there, it's from Dmytro Golodiuk, the mind behind this protocol. Now, if you're a CIO, a CTO, or a senior architect, I'm betting this hits close to home. That whole archaeological expedition idea, your best people digging through this maze of siloed data just to answer what should be a simple business question. It's a huge time.
So this existing data chaos, it creates what you could call a paradox, especially when we try to bring these incredibly powerful large language models, LLMs, into the corporate world.
You see, for all their amazing capabilities, LLMs just hit a functional brick wall when they enter a corporate IT environment, right? They have a knowledge cutoff, so they know nothing about your private internal data. They have this tendency to just make stuff up, what we call hallucinating, and trying to integrate them, it's a total nightmare, which leaves you with this giant security and governance black hole. It's a mess.
And this is where the integration problem just explodes. People call it the N by M problem. You've got N different AI models and M different data sources, and for every single combination, you end up building a custom, brittle adapter. This approach doesn't just fail to scale, it's mathematically guaranteed to fail, leaving you with a mountain of technical debt that's impossible to maintain.
So here's the real kicker. We're not just solving one problem here. We're dealing with two colliding issues: the built-in limitations of the LLMs themselves on one side, and the absolute chaos of enterprise data on the other. And they don't just add up, they multiply. They create this vicious cycle, and that's the cycle that the Model Context Protocol is specifically designed to break.
To break out of that cycle, you can't just slap on another patchwork fix. It's not going to work. What we really need is something more fundamental, something at the protocol level. We need a universal standard.
Okay, so what exactly is the Model Context Protocol? Let's be clear. MCP is not another AI model. It's not some new proprietary platform you have to buy into. Think of it as the rulebook. It's a shared language, an open protocol that standardizes how any application can give context to any LLM. It's the missing translator between your AI and your enterprise systems.
And the analogy here is just perfect. Think of it as the USB-C for AI. We're finally moving away from that drawer full of tangled, custom connectors where nothing works with anything else. Instead, we're moving toward a single open standard that you can just plug in and it just works.
And this isn't just some abstract architectural theory. Let's look at how it actually changes workflows. Take a common task, like fuzzy search or document conversion. The old way? A user has to manually retype data from a PDF, which is slow and full of errors. The new way, with MCP, a user just provides the PDF, and the AI can intelligently read it, understand it, and then propose creating a new entry in your ERP system. All the user has to do is click Approve. It's a total game changer.
All right, so how does MCP actually make this happen? How does it work under the hood?
Well, it all boils down to one really elegant core design principle.
And here it is. This is absolutely the key to the whole thing. Delegated trust with human-in-the-loop verification. Let me translate that. This is not about handing over the keys to the kingdom and just blindly trusting an AI. No way. It's about letting the AI be smart and propose actions, but the human user, you, always, and I mean always, hold the final power of approval. It's all about control.
So on the server side, it starts with something called resources. The easiest way to think about these are as the nouns of your company. They're the specific data points the AI is allowed to see and look up. This could be a static file, like a PDF, or it could be a dynamic template for a query like, hey, find all the invoices for this specific customer.
And if resources are the nouns, then tools are the verbs. These are the actions the AI can ask to perform, things like create invoice or update customer record. But, and this is the crucial security piece, the AI can only propose the action. It has absolutely no power to execute it on its own. It requests, you approve. That's the firewall.
Then there's the client side. And this feature, elicitation is a total game changer. So what happens when the AI runs into something it doesn't understand? When it's confused? Well, instead of just making a guess and hallucinating or just failing silently, it stops. It pauses and asks you, the human, for help. It can say, hey, I found 2 customers with this name. Which one did you mean? It turns a potential failure into a simple, clarifying conversation.
Okay, to really see how all these pieces, resources, tools, and elicitation come together, let's look at a real-world, high-stakes example. We're talking about one of the most complex areas of enterprise data there is, financial reporting with XBRL. Now, anyone who's dealt with XBRL knows that tagging financial data is, well, it's notoriously difficult and incredibly error-prone. In fact, if you look at the data from XBRL US, you'll see that almost half, nearly 50% of all filing errors come from just 2 main problems: using invalid combinations of tags and simple negative value errors. These are exactly the kinds of subtle mistakes that are super easy for humans to miss.
And this is where the genius of MCP's design really shines, because it addresses these exact errors by its very nature. How? Well, to stop incorrect tags, the AI uses a resource to query the official correct taxonomy. To prevent those invalid combinations, a tool on the server validates the entire request before it's ever executed. And those sneaky negative value errors, bam, that triggers an elicitation prompt asking the human expert for a quick check. Just think about that for a second. A simple, interactive pop-up, just like this one, can prevent a multi-million-dollar financial reporting error. Instead of a silent mistake that gets buried, only to be discovered months later during an audit, the system engages the human expert right at the source. This completely flips the script on compliance, moving it from a reactive, painful process to a proactive, guided one. Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful. I get it. But the big question for any CIO or architect is, how do I actually plug this into my messy, complex existing IT world without having to rip and replace everything? It's a fair question. And the answer is, you don't have to. You use proven, smart architectural patterns. You can stick an API gateway right in front of your MCP servers to handle centralized control, security, and routing. And for all those legacy systems you can't get rid of, you use the adapter pattern. You build a simple, thin wrapper around them to make them AI-ready, without a massive, expensive rewrite. What this does is give you a desperately needed application layer for AI governance. With MCP, you can enforce fundamental security principles like the principle of least privilege right into the design. So instead of giving an AI a master key to an entire database API, a tool exposes only one single specific function. It gives you this incredibly granular, auditable control over exactly what the AI is allowed to even ask for.
Now, the smart way to get started with this is not some massive, all-at-once, big bang project. No, you take a phased approach. You start small, you identify a high-value but low-risk read-only use case to get a quick win and show people what's possible. Then you can introduce some action-oriented tools that have a really clear ROI, like automating part of your AP process. And from there, you can scale and federate these intelligent services across the entire enterprise. Because ultimately, the vision here is so much bigger. It's about creating what Dima calls a composable, AI-native enterprise. It's a future where you can dynamically assemble intelligent services to solve business problems on the fly, instead of being locked into these rigid, hard-coded legacy processes. It's about building a more agile, intelligent organization from the ground up. This whole protocol really does pave the way for a future of dynamic, intelligent business. A future where AI is the conductor and MCP is the secure nervous system connecting everything together. Which really leaves every technology leader with one final critical question to think about. Is your architecture ready for that future?